I've been interested in plural relationships for almost, I'd say, close to 15 years, maybe. It was just a natural way to be. I don't know that I have the room to limit what it is that I bring to just one individual. I don't know if that's okay for me to do. The women that I'm with recognize that it's, in some sense, maybe proper.
I mean, Nick's a lot to handle, let's just say that. And
When you say Nick's a lot to handle, what do you mean?
in a lot of ways. Nick's a lot to handle in the bed. Nick's a lot to handle in general in his personality. It's nice to be able to have helping hands.
There was some hit and miss before I found the right chemistry, the right composition to make it actually last and work the way that this has successfully, so.
I met Nick in college, and we've been together now for about 14 years. I really didn't know anything about polygamy, really. It was just, this was the man that I loved and wanted to be with, and there's just gonna happen to be multiple of us women that are in love with him and wanna be with him and wanna be there to support him.
Jennifer, what do you want?
Water, please.
You got it.
This is my first polygamous relationship, and it's been 4.5, almost 5 years now. April introduced me to Nick with the potential of me being a sister wife at some point.
Jen and I actually became friends through working together. It just became evident to me that she was a great person, that there was a lot of high intellect in that big brain of hers, and I knew that Nick would find that attractive.
Pretty immediately, Nick made me feel like the most beautiful, the most courageous, the most fearless woman. And from there, I just knew that this was meant to be and I wouldn't want anything else.
It smells delicious.
It really
as
does.
always, here.
Since we weren't able to legally be married, all of us together, I am legally married to April. We changed our last names to match Nick's last names to show others how committed we are to this relationship.
Also, I think it just kind of prevents there being any misunderstanding about the importance of anyone. For example, if April and I were married to each other, then Jennifer may not feel as included in our relationship as she is. I think it just kind of evens the playing field.
Practicing a polygamous relationship is beneficial for lots of reasons. Simple things like there's not just two of us to cook dinner or two of us to clean the house.
I'm gonna do one more spritz of salt.
Okay. And just the day-to-day emotional support as well, like you would if you had a best friend to call on, but it's just in-house.
The current sleeping arrangements at home is that we all share one bed.
Morning. Just getting up here. Part of that is because of space. I mean, we have the smallest house ever right now. We had to work it out the way we worked out, and it ended up working out in a way that we prefer.
Not one of us spends a night without Nick because it's very special to be able to, you know, sleep next to the one you love, for sure.
I like to be snuggled up in the middle. Yes, you do. It's a nice spot for me. So it's okay.
I'll get the buns out here in like a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Are they in the oven? Our schedule for sex is whenever I feel like it or whenever they feel like it. No,
Our schedule for sex is that there is no schedule for sex.
try to make sure everybody's taken care of.
You make sure
Yes.
we're all taken care of, Nicholas.
There's
So
never a time
there's not
that
a problem. In regard to intimacy, we always make sure that we're in a separate area of the house when Nick's doing his thing. Having one-on-one time with one of the ladies, make sure that they have that time to themselves.
I am a stay-at-home dad. In our household, the women are the breadwinners. That's the way we run things here. That's the way we like it to be structured.
Nick is a trophy husband, if you will. We prefer it that way,
Right.
honestly. Like, I would go crazy if I was at the house all the time, and I pride myself on being a breadwinner, and Jenny's right there with me. I am a manager at an organization company. Jen is management in an IT company. Jen and I make more than enough money by ourselves. We don't need that. We don't want that.
Let me just say this right quick. If you look at a chessboard, the king doesn't really move much because he just moves a square at a time. Meanwhile, the queen, she's all over the board, okay? The queen's got all the power. The king just kind of holds court. Now, please, continue.
No, all I wanted to say is the thing that Nick's able to do is to read and learn and decipher things that I would never be able to do.
I'm gonna get into the store here.
Okay.
So I was reading some stuff. I came across this concept. They call it particle wave duality, okay?
Yeah.
And it's this idea in quantum physics where every quantum entity or subatomic particle, they can be expressed in two different forms, okay? There's an aspect of it that's a particle, and then they can also be expressed as a wave.
The passion that he has for learning and growth and development and research, you know, it's definitely a passion that we
It's attractive.
that we share,
Very
you know. I love it. And I think that's the beautiful part about this relationship is just learning from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that I've learned from Nick and that I've learned from you that have really changed me into the woman that I'm growing into. And so, you know, thank you both so much.
I wouldn't want it any other way. I'm just so thankful that I'm able to have a thinker at home that all he does is read and think and tell me about all the things that he's been able to research and what that means. How that applies to us here and how that makes it to where we don't have to be stressed in our life like everyone around us. I don't walk around with anxiety or hurt or any of those things. And if I didn't have Nick in my life, I probably would. Not everyone in the world has a Nick. And I'm just thankful that I do.
Me too.
I could say the same thing about having you come along. There's things that I had to learn about myself that you were like the perfect mirror for me to have to look in order for me to be able to learn it.
And we're all doing that with each other, you know, to show ourselves the aspects and elements that are difficult to see. And that would absolutely have to be maintained with whoever we bring into this situation. Being a family of three sets up good groundwork for us to expand. We spend all our time with each other, so finding someone who can fit into that groove also, that's probably our biggest challenge. For anybody else that comes along in the future, there's work involved, you know what I mean?